We're ready to start on problem 24 for the review for test 3. Use a half-angle formula to find the cosine of 3 pi over 8. I've changed it 2 degrees and got 67.5 degrees. The identity we're going to use is cosine of alpha over 2 equals plus or minus the square root of 1 plus the cosine of alpha. Let's go ahead and decide about this outside sign before we go any farther. That depends on where 67.5 degrees is located. So the outside sign is positive because 67.5 degrees is in quadrant 1. When we multiply 67.5 times 2, we can rewrite this as the cosine of 135 degrees divided by 2 equals the square root of 1 plus the cosine of 135 all over 2. Look at your unit circle. Find the cosine of 135 degrees. Cosine of 135 degrees is negative square root of 2 over 2, found by looking at right there. So this is the square root of 1 minus the square root of 2 over 2 all over 2. The 1 becomes 2 over 2, so we can combine these. We have the square root of 2 minus the square root of 2 over 2 times 1 times the square root of 2. This becomes the square root of 2 minus the square root of 2 all over 2, which is 1/2 times the square root of 2 minus the square root of 2. Either of these are okay for your final answer. Number 25. The tangent of 75 degrees, that when we use a half-angle formula to find this, at least they gave it to me in degrees, which makes it a little faster and easier. I'm going to rewrite this as the tangent of 150 over 2. The half-angle formula that I will use is, actually I have 3 choices, but I'm not going to use that one that's got that square root in it. I'm going to use one of these that's more simple. I'm going to choose to use this last one. You will get the same answer no matter which you choose to use. So here I go. I'm writing sine of alpha over 1 plus cosine of alpha. So that is sine of 150 over 1 plus cosine of 150. Sine of 150. I am looking at this. I know that sine is my second number. I have 1/2 in the numerator. The denominator is 1 minus the square root of 3 over 2. Simplify that denominator by changing that to 2 over 2. So I have 1/2 divided by 2 minus the square root of 3 over 2, which is 1/2 times 2 over 2 minus the square root of 3. 2's cancel. I have 1 over 2 minus the square root of 3. You know, you got to rationalize by multiplying by the multiply by the conjugate, which is 2 plus the square root of 3. Whatever you do to the bottom, you got to do to the top. The numerator is 2 plus the square root of 3. The denominator is 4 minus 3, which is 1. Final answer, 2 plus the square root of 3.